So, as you know, there are a lot of guns in Phantom Forces, a crazy amount if I'm being perfectly honest. And there's even more secondaries. There's a stupid amount of secondaries. Specifically semi-automatic pistols, which is, it is what it is. But there's one series of weapons that just stand out amongst everything else, and that is the G-series weapons, or the Glocks. We have to call them G-series because copyright. But the Glocks in this game, there's like 10 of them, and I'm going to be rating every single one and leaving my honest review, so enjoy. So the first Glock we have in the game is the Glock 17. Unlocked at rank 0 and with 780 fire rate, chambered in 9mm. It has 17 rounds. I think you can do +1. The damage ranges are pretty good. 34 damage out to 40 studs, dropping down to 20 at 110. The torso multi is 1.1, and the headshot multi is 1.5. Now this thing, when I was using it, is super fun, and you can shoot it super fast just by fingering your mouse as hard as you can. Honestly, this is a great starter weapon, and I almost prefer it to the M9, which is also unlocked at rank 0. For one reason. I like it for one reason. Because it has a cooler inspect animation. All the Glocks, when you inspect it, you pull back the slide. You don't get to see a round in the chamber, which is kind of disappointing. But you do pull it back, and it's cool. I like the little custom inspect animation. Overall, I had a really fun time using the Glock 17. It was super easy to use, too, because you just beam people. The reload is good. Honestly, I would rate it a solid 8 out of 10. Super fun gun. I would suggest using it if you haven't tried it. For a second gun, we have the G21. Unranked at rank 21. It's chambered in 45 ACP and has 650 RPM. It does 44 damage out to 40 studs, dropping down to 24 damage at 120 studs, with a 1.1 torso multiplier, but a 1.8 headshot multiplier, which is 0.3 higher than the G17. Now, this gun was pretty fun to use, especially since, even though it has a lower fire rate, it still felt really, really quick and really speedy. And it also, like the rest of the box, has a cool inspect animation. Now, I usually like guns with higher fire rates, so that's why I was really attracted to the G17. But the G21 shot slower, not too much slower, but it felt a lot less fun to use. So I'd give this one a solid 5 out of 10. So for our next gun, we have the G23. Now, what I find a little annoying is that the number after the G is the patent number. So this is the 23rd patent that Glock has made. Doesn't relate to the caliber, which the G23, our next gun, is 40 Smith & Wesson. So that just annoys me a little bit. Anyway, this gun's pretty fun. 700 RPM, not the best for a pistol. It does 36 damage out to 45 studs and dropping down to 22 at 110 studs. Has a 1.05 multiplier, torso multiplier, and a headshot multiplier of 1.5. Whoa, there's not a lot to say about this. The Glocks are all pretty similar in performance. It has the inspect animation, so that's cool. This gun is not really anything special. It shoots the slowest out of all of them, so that's disappointing. It also is not the best damage range. It's 36 with a 1.05 torso multiplier is okay, but with the fire rate, you're much better going with other Glocks instead of this one. I do have a cool skin on it. It almost matches up on the gun itself. My colors are like cyan blue and hot pink, so that's cool when I have a customizable skin. But overall, this gun is probably a 3 out of 10. It's not the greatest. It's still good, but I just don't think it has that much of a place in use. Up next, we have the G40, which is chambered in 10mm auto. Once again, the name doesn't fit the caliber. Has 550 RPM, 15 rounds +1, a 1.1 torso multiplier, and a 1.75 headshot. Now, even though before I said I don't like guns with lower fire rates, the G40 is actually super fun because with the minimum 25 damage out to 120 studs, it's a 4-tap to the limb at all ranges. A 4-tap at 500 RPM and no recoil. It does 36 damage out to 40 studs and dropping out to 25 at 120. But with a 1.75 headshot multi, it's kind of insane. And this gun was super fun to use, especially at longer ranges. The recoil you don't really notice. And it's overall a super fun gun to use. I would rate it a solid 8.5 out of 10. And lastly, we have by far my favorite Glock in the entire game, the Glock 50, specifically with hollow point, because the base gun does 47 damage out to 50 studs, dropping down to 23 damage at 132 studs with the Osprey suppressor. Now, this is chambered in 50 GI and it has 600 RPM, 8+1 in the magazine. So, not that much ammo, but with a 1.25 torso multiplier and a 2.2 headshot multiplier, this gun is insane. And because it has a higher torso multiplier at 1.25, once you add hollow point, which reduces your torso multiplier and raises your damage, you still have a 1.06 torso multiplier, which is insane, meaning you're doing like over 55 damage to the torso out to 52 studs, 52.5 studs with the Osprey suppressor. And with 600 RPM, that's absolutely insane. It could even one-tap head to a crazy amount of range, which is just crazy. And also, it has the coolest inspect animation out of all of the other pistols. It has the standardized Glock, all the Glock with the same inspect animation, but I just think it looks even cooler on the Glock 50. I absolutely love the Glock 50. I have 461 kills on it. It's one of my favorite secondaries. I even made a previous video about it, which was kind of cool, and yeah. So, if you guys did watch all of this and enjoy, subscribe, like, do all that, peace.